9.2. We skipped 9.1 until later, but this is the notes for 9.2, solving quadratic equations by graphing. So to solve an equation by graphing, you're actually looking for the x-intercepts. So where it crosses the x-axis is considered a zero for the solution. So let's find the zeros. This graph, if this is the y-axis, then here's a zero, and there's a zero. So it looks like the zeros are -2 and 1. So you're just looking for the x-intercepts. So right here, there's an x-intercept, there's an x-intercept, and there's an x-intercept. The zeros are at 0, 1, and 2. So 0, 1, and 2. The last one, the zeros, so I plot my dots so I can find where they are. Find the axes. There's the x-axis, there's the y-axis. So it looks like there's at -1, 1, and 3. All right, 3 through 8. Solve the equation by graphing. Rewrite it in standard form if you have to. So 3 through 8, it's already in standard form, so we're going to graph it. So that means you go to your graphing calculator, you go to y equals, and just type in what you see. X squared plus 4x, zoom 6 to get a standard window, and we're looking for where it crosses the x. So I see at 0 and -4. So 0 and -4 is where my graph is. So now I'm going to trace my parabola through those points. So it looks something like that, just a rough sketch, but make sure you get the zeros. So then the zeros are at -4 and 0. Okay. Number 4 is not in standard form. Standard form is where it's equal to 0. So I'm going to add an x squared to the other side and get x squared minus 2x plus 1. That's what I type in my calculator. So y equals x squared minus 2x plus 1. And then hit your graph. So it looks like there's a 0 right at -1. So then I'm going to plot my graph. Or sorry, +1. So my graph is going to do one of these. So there's only one 0 in this case, and it's at 1. Okay. These next 3 are already in standard form. If not, you just move things around to get everything on the same side. So we can type that one in. So x squared plus 2x plus 4. Oops, I did a minus, then a plus. And you can see there are no x-intercepts. So that means this graph has a no solution. So let's graph its rough sketch. So no zeros. That's a possibility. So if you take a look, you could have two of them, one of them, or none. Okay. All right, let's get these graphs, 6, 7, and 8. It's as easy as just typing it in your calculator. So go to y equals x squared minus x minus 12, hit graph, and see where it crosses. It crosses at 1, 2, -3, and 1, 2, 3, 4. So -3 and 4. And then it kind of goes off screen a little bit and then comes back. Okay, so my zeros are at -3 and 4. Let's do x squared plus 4. So you type it in your calculator. If you're watching this, you can pause it. Oh, that one has no solutions. So we're going to go up to 4 here and do a little graph like that. No zeros. And then the last one, x squared plus 6x plus 9. X squared plus 6x plus 9. And it looks like it crosses at -1, -2, -3. There is a 0 button on your calculator, so you can go to calculate right here. So go to second calculate, the 0, and then move your cursor to the left. See how my cursor is to the right of the 0? Just move your cursor to the left, hit enter, move your cursor to the right. So you kind of set your boundaries. Do you see how there's boundaries here? And it's going to look for a 0 between those two boundaries. And it's -0.29999999, but that's basically -3. So my 0 is at -3. So 0 at -3. Graph it. So it's one of these deals. It only touches once. Okay, backside. Find the zeros to the nearest tenth using your graphing calculator. So let's find the zeros. We got to type it in. It says f of x equals, but we can do y equals. So x squared minus 3x plus 1. Hit the graph. So you can see that they don't cross exactly on numbers. So we've got to use our calculator to find those decimal values. So you go to second, calc, 0, and then set your left boundary. So I have my cursors already to the left. And then I'm going to go to the right of it, over here, hit enter, and enter. So my first 0 is located at 0.382. What does it say? Round to the tenths. So 0.4 then. We'll go 3 decimal places. Tenths is just 1, so 0.4. And then we'll do the other one, second calc 0. So move the cursor to the left, hit enter, move your cursor to the right, hit enter, 2.618, which is 2.6. Okay, next one. So y equals x squared minus x minus 3. Graph. So you can see they're not landing right on the numbers. So we've got a second calc find 0. I've got to set my cursor to the left of the first 0. And then I set my cursor to the right of it. Hit enter. So negative 1.3. So 0, number 1. Negative 1.3. And then the second 0, second calc 0. Move my cursor to the left of it. So I'm still, see how the cursor is to the left. And then my cursor is to the right. And we get 2.3 are my two solutions. And let's do the last one. Go to y equals negative x squared. So negative x squared minus 8x minus 13. Second calc intersect. So where's my cursor at? There it is, way over here. Enter. Move the cursor to the right. Enter. And enter. So my first 0 is at negative 5.7. Let's do the second one. So left boundary, right boundary, negative 2.3 if we're rounding to the tenths place. Cool. So graphing on your graphing calculator. And then the story problems. So the height in feet of an underhand volleyball serve can be modeled by the following equation. H equals negative 16 t squared plus 30 t plus 4, where t is time in seconds and h is the height in feet. So in math, we're to the point now where we got to start switching everything out of x's and y's and put everything into h's and t's and everything like that. So it's just y here. So h is y and t is x. So you can type it how you see it, but you don't do the h's and the t's. You just do the y's and the x's. So you go to y equals negative 16x squared plus 30x plus 4. Okay, now if you take a look, I've set up a window for you guys. So this is your x axis, this is your y axis. So we're going to hit window, which is right here, window. And then your x minimum is at 0. Do you see how all the way to the left is 0? So x min is 0. And then the y max is 5. So 0 to 5. And then the y's go from 0 to 20. So the y min is 0. And the y max is 20. So there's my window. And when I hit graph, you'll see the same window right there. Because if I do a zoom 6, I'm not going to see everything. So I've set a window for you guys. Now let's graph some key points by hitting the trace button. So the trace so the y-intercept is at 4. And then let's go to the top. You guys, we can find the top by hitting a calculate. Second, calculate. This is called a maximum. So hit your left boundary. Go to the right of it. Hit your right boundary and then hit enter. So my maximum is at 0.9418. So basically 1 and 18. So that's located at 0.9418.1. And let's find the 0. Looks like it's close to 2, so second calculate the 0. I'm going to move my cursor to the left of it. or above it. Hit enter. Then I'm going to go off screen to make sure I'm to the right of it. Hit enter. 2. So there's my parabola. Okay. Now let's answer the questions. How high does the volleyball go? So remember, the y value represents the height, and the x value represents time. So to me, the y value at the top is 18.1. So 18.1, and what are my units? My units are in feet for height. B, no one received the serve. After how many seconds does the volleyball hit the ground? So T is X value, so the volleyball goes up and then comes back and hits the ground. That's at the 0. So the 0 is 2 seconds. Nice job, guys.